G'day race fans and welcome back to the RaceNuts podcast. I'm back again with my good friend Ash Miller. My name's Dan Southey. Ash mate, we're here to discuss probably one of the second biggest news we've had since the season kicked off, and that is that Toyota finally have a second team for 2026, and not just 2 more cars but 4 more cars, with Brad Jones Racing jumping from General Motors to Toyota for the 2026 season. What was your thoughts on this, mate?
My straight up thoughts were, first of all, I think it's a very strong team to have Toyotas coming out of. A team with 4 cars as well. It's been mentioned before that Toyota would like to use this as a pathway for their 86 drivers. So going for a team with 4 cars and whoever approached whoever, I think it works out perfectly. The development's going to be really there for our younger drivers in a couple years, I believe, or sooner. So that's my very first initial thought on that front. I'd say second up is, I think it's good to have just bringing 4 more cars. Like, I know I come back to it, but like having 4 more cars, it just makes 6 cars total, obviously. And I think
good maths.
Thank you.
Proud of you, bud.
I've butchered this. What I'm trying to get to my point here is I think it's good to have more. Fuck, I've shit the bed on this. It's good to have more cars, I think. I'm glad it wasn't a 2-car team. I'm glad it was a 4-car team.
It's definitely strong. It gives definitely Toyota a good base. These cars will be also. These will be cars developed by Walkinshaw and Andretti United, and it's believed that Toyota, that Brad Jones Racing has been given an input pathway with Walkinshaw for some of their ideas. Obviously, Brad Jones Racing back in the days when we did develop cars. Oh, that's trippy. Sorry, your whole camera shook and I thought I had a stroke. Brad Jones Racing back when they had independent development such as your suspension and all that were quite a strong powerhouse team in that development. So to have a little bit of waypoint with that is definitely a bonus for both sides. Obviously, Walkinshaw and Andretti get a bit of a second input. Not like they would need much more from between themselves. Obviously, being the former Holden Racing team, and of course with the backing with Toyota itself, but having that third layer of input from a team that's very used to building and, let's be honest, rebuilding a lot of cars. And as you mentioned it at the beginning, then will Toyota look to, obviously Toyota's going to have a strong connection with their 86 program and their other racing series throughout Australia with this program. But also, will they be looking to put their own international drivers into this system?
Yeah, for wild cards and whatnot coming out.
Not just wild cards, but
too.
if we look at the Brad Jones Racing current lineup, which is of course Andre Heingun in the number 8, Jackson Evans in the number 12, which is owned by SCT Logistics and the Smith family. Bryce Fullwood in the 14, and Macaulay Jones in the 96. Only one of those 4 drivers is actually signed in for 2026, which is Andre Heingunner. The other 3, are technically yet to be confirmed. I'm not expecting a lot of movement on this. Brad Jones was asked about this at the announcement, and he said that it's all being worked on at the moment. And I'm not really, obviously, Andre Heingunner, that is really a factor at this point. Strong season already. He's had a good start. Bryce Fullwood coming off the back of a podium in Tasmania. Jackson Evans showed a lot of pace in Tasmania, and I think Macaulay Jones, was he not leading the race at one point? I think he was out of sync, but at one point he was leading. I believe it was race 12.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure you're bang on there. In terms of who's gonna stick around to see the Toyota and actually drive it, we've obviously got Andre Heimgartner, who has a contract into next year, so he should be pretty safe unless it's a big shake-up. Unless it's a huge shake-up on Toyota's end, and they're hey, we have this.
I don't think Toyota will be looking to, make big moves in this first couple of years. I think they definitely want to give obviously mainly Walkinshaw and Andretti United. That's their homologation team, but I think they want to give both their teams some good stable because this should be a pretty smooth transition. We're expecting Toyota's going to go quite well next year purely because they're probably going to play the game that we saw from Volvo and Mercedes and Nissan when they came to the category, which in fairness is what Ford and Holden used to do all the time when we were bringing yearly releases of the FG and the FGX and etc. Which was they'll develop the car very late, and then they would submit the car as late as possible for scrutineering. So when Supercars found, we don't like this, we don't like that, that gives you an unfair advantage in the slow corners, that gives you an unfair advantage on the straights. The manufacturer could come back, or the homologation team could come back and say, okay, yep, sorry, our mistake, we'll fix that. But it's gonna take us 6 weeks to fix that, and round one's in 2 weeks. Yeah. And so we saw that with a lot of cars that would get a great start to the season. I think Volvo in particular made a really great use of that. So as well as Supercars, as we'll be looking to make this transition for Toyota in general as smooth as possible. This is obviously a huge get for them, and they don't want I think they'd rather deal with half-season controversy over parity.
Yeah.
When we've ever had controversy over parity in this sport?
Never, mate.
I think they'd rather deal with that head noise than fear of disappointing Toyota when the car's not competitive for the first 6 months. Yeah. Obviously, there will be eventually parity, as there always will be. Brad Jones did outline. Listen to his interview with Macaulay Jones on the Brad Jones Racing podcast. He did outline that a huge bit of confidence for them was that Toyota has actually signed up a 5-year deal with Supercars.
Yeah.
So win, lose, or draw, they're here until at least 2031.
Yeah, that's a good length of time to get your feet and toes wet kind of thing.
Yeah.
I can't speak tonight.
Yeah, you can barely speak ever.
Yeah.
This will be sorted out our own boxing row one day. We're just going to be, instead of fighting other podcasts, we're just going to be fighting each other.
Yes.
Sorry, I just lost my whole train of thought, mate. What were you saying?
Well, I was saying I can't speak, but also, in terms of moving to Toyota, so first of all, just to backtrack us a little bit as to where Toyota honestly came as a surprise, it was Sandown 2024. We had the announcement for Walkinshaw and Andretti United. I'm 100% sure of that because I remember
it was about
us being there. I feel like we peeped. You peeped some. I think you might have seen. I feel like if not, it was for Gen 3, you might have fucking seen a chassis laying around or something.
I copped a peek at Gen 3 chassis before it got announced. The Camaro, that's right. We got at Bathurst, and then we got some rounds from Curtin, and we saw the Gen 3 Triple 8 Camaro test vehicle before it got used. But you got the timeline about right, because they showed the clay model at Bathurst.
Yeah. So. And with Neil Crompton, because he's a Toyota ambassador, he did a lot of heavy lifting with at least Walkinshaw. From what you know, if anything, do you think he had a lot bringing Brad over?
I think Brad was put in two places between, does he want to continue with a GM that obviously he got snubbed for the homologation role, but still GM's definitely firing back up with Ford and what they're bringing to the table, on top of Toyota. Yeah. So you got really, do I want to go with GM, something we know, something that seems like it's really getting revigorized, or do we want to jump on something new, which could be a new challenge that could really take off? And he pretty much decided in the late that he wanted to do something new, which is change is always good, especially for a team like this. This is not the first time they changed manufacturer either. They were with Ford until 2008. Until the end of 2007, switching to Holden in 2008, and same with the GM product ever since. But for Brad Jones, he's raced everything from Ford, Holden to I think raced Audi back in the kind of the prior damn it, now I'm doing it to the prior of the V8 rule regulations.
And he's also done they started their roots are kind of in like Formula Fords, and they've done stock cars.
Yeah, the Jones brothers had a lot of success in stock cars, mainly obviously in Oscar, which pretty much only raced at the Thunderdome. But to my understanding, they were very, very dominant in Oscar, and then they did playing around in the States. I know he did race an Audi Quattro. I just can't remember if that was part of the Australian Touring Car Championship or that was part of something else.
Yeah. I mean, I would find that information, but there is a lot. I'm struggling here. My brain is not firing on too many cylinders right now. Okay, well, who do you think is going to find themselves out of our 6 drivers that we've got in a Toyota now? And let's say that this lineup that we have this year is the lineup that we have next year for our drivers.
I'd say it would be. I don't see them changing.
Yeah. Who do you think is going to take to it well? Maybe through past experience, or just going to really thrive in it?
I don't think these cars are going to drive much different. I think I was a little bit concerned about the aero parity of these vehicles. Purely because, like, obviously, you look at the Supra, it's very much more nosy compared to the much more boxier Mustang or Camaro.
Yeah.
But I'm starting to see what Jackson Evans does. Jackson Evans, obviously, huge amount of experience international with the GT programs. I think he'll adapt over better. We're starting to see him really bring that pace in it. I think I've said previously, I believe his pace is really muffled by the Brad Jones Racing cars, purely just where they are as a team to setting up week to week. And we saw in Tassie that when we saw pretty much all 3 Brad Jones cars did reasonably well. Oh, 4, sorry. Andre Harganer had a bit of a rougher weekend. But the other 3 were set up quite well, and we saw the pace out of all of them. Yeah. So I think Jackson Evans is going to be definitely the one to watch here. Bryce's transition to Toyota, I think, could be on the point of make and break. You know, we like Bryce.
Bumpy.
Bryce has always been the problem of he has flashes of the speed, but can't be consistent. And at first, I was always labelled to Walkinshaw Andretti, and now he's spent 3 years at Brad Jones.
He was at Walkinshaw.
Yeah, and now he's been at Brad Jones for a few years, and we're still seeing that sort of that troubled inconsistency. So, I don't think next year will be make or break. I think the year after, if he's had another year like he's had last year, another year that looks like he's having now, if he has one after this year, of the same inconsistency, kind of, sort of hovers around that, top 15 mark. I think, and the Toyota is competitive at the moment where he is. So the Brad Jones Racing cars in themselves are inconsistent. So him being inconsistent doesn't really matter. I think if the car becomes mighty competitive, that's when the make or break attitude has to come out. Andre
Heimgartner.
Yeah. It spins me out because I called him once in a video Adrian. I don't know where I got Adrian from. And I got about 400 fucking messages about
It's like when you called Bradley.
But that wasn't. That was just his formal name.
That's still bad. Yeah, but it's still not on.
No. I called. I just said someone else's name in that video. Admittedly, it was one of our first videos, and I spent probably about 3 hours recording it, trying to get everything right in it.
Yeah.
For a fucking 4-minute video.
Jesus.
Which I think Facebook pulled down. So, I think that's all we've got really to discuss about this exciting new development for the Toyota program and Supercars in 2026. Ash, mate, what's your final thoughts on this?
Well, with all we've discussed tonight, I think it's a great thing for Supercars as a whole, having Toyota come in and jump on board with BJR. I think the drivers are going to definitely have a challenge. As you said earlier, there's a bit of a different aero package look and things. So, having a less boxy front of the car, I think that's going to be a cool challenge for the drivers. A good challenge for Toyota too, actually, with a bit of further forward there, just because they've been out of the Supercars game for so long.
Well, they don't think they've ever really been in.
I think
Not since maybe the Group A area, and that was Group A era, and that was a whole different kettle of fish.
Yeah, well, yeah, they haven't, they're getting their toes wet, and good on them. So overall, I think it's a really good thing. It's gonna bring a lot of attention as well to supercars, a lot of fresh attention, I think, as well. Especially from people in Japan. We might get a new audience because the time zone's not too different, so they might bring in a big audience from there too. What about yours, Dan? Where do you lay on?
A lot of the same things. It's obviously good for the sport in general, but I think it's very good for Brad Jones Racing. It's gonna put a lot more money into their pockets to a team that often does a lot with very little. I think that's gonna make them stand out in the grid more, which is great. And on probably by the pure fact that it's diversifying things from more than just a 2-horse race, probably make everyone stand out a little bit better, making it all a little bit more open to sponsors and sponsorship money, but also giving Toyota even more room to work with. We know Toyota like to cross promote between the series and their brands and other things they do. Like you'll see, I've seen the Bates family who raced. Pretty sure they raced Toyota with in their rally program. You've seen them in KO ads with AFL players.
Yeah,
with that have links to Toyota, and the same with the North Queensland Cowboys. They will do things with, I believe it's the LA Crows are currently sponsored by Toyota there, as well as the AFL
that sounds
League.
about right. Yeah.
Yeah. So you see those three organisations linking together for Toyota, and now you're going to see Walker Andretti and Brad Jones Racing being linked up between those.
Yeah.
So it's overall good for the sport. It's good for Brad Jones Racing, and it's there's no negatives to this. I don't see one.
No, not at all. All right, beautiful.
Right, mate, we'll leave it there, I guess.
No worries, mate. All the best.
See ya.
See ya.